Well, hello there everybody, it is Blake. Welcome back to another super exciting video. It's a little bit different than I'm sure you guys were thinking of, but it's a story time video. Yes, I'm supposed to be on my way to the airport right now, and this moment of you guys like watching me. I'm supposed to be in a car, getting ready, driving to the airport, hopping on a plane soon, but no, this story time video starts off great, and it ends on a really sad note. So get ready to sit down, have a great little chat with me as I tell you guys all about how my camera was stolen at Disneyland. The saddest story ever told. Truly. Where do I start with this? Okay, so currently it is the middle of April now. It's April 18th. I went to Disneyland on March 9th. I left my apartment at like 3 in the morning. I was on my way to the airport. I was filming my entire morning, the whole time on the way to the airport and stuff. I was holding my camera, filming, you know, as I usually do. Every single time I go to Disneyland, I always film an intro in the car, and then I film at the airport, and I say, look, it's Barry the Bear, and like Moosey the Moose, and Wolfie the Wolf. I got my venti cool and refresher from Starbucks. I got a bagel with like light cream cheese, because they always give me that every single time I order that at the airport. I wait at the airport until about 6 a.m. when my flight leaves. I arrive in Los Angeles at LAX at about 9:05, as that usually happens. And this time, my friend Cassie, who I filmed with in some Disneyland videos, as you guys may have already seen from my Vlogtober series, I hang out with her. She picked me up from the airport. She had school that morning, so she picked me up at about 9:30 a.m. from LAX. I had 2 huge suitcases with me, not realizing that she drove a smart car. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna fit this in her tiny little smart car? We literally had to like push and shove and cram my suitcases in. I had to like lean in and push it while she like slammed the door shut. We drove from LAX to where she lives. I think she lives in somewhere called Orange or something. I'm not familiar with the area. I'm only ever in like Anaheim or like downtown LA, Hollywood. And we went to Dunkin' Donuts. On the way we stopped and I got for my very first time ever, I got a Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. It was like one of the greatest things I've ever had. It was so delicious and tasty. I loved that, so good. We then go to her apartment and I like unpack my stuff. I was staying with her for a few days. When I originally got there, I was staying with her from the 9th until the 13th, I believe. And she lives like 15-20 minutes away from Disneyland. At that point, I would take an Uber or Lyft from her apartment to Disney, and then from Disney back to her place at nighttime. And then I was filming the entire like morning routine or whatever. It was about 12 o'clock, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I have a bunch of cool Canadian stuff in my bag that I have to show you. Got her a whole bunch of like cool foods and stuff, filmed a separate video with her for that. I was like, here, try this Canadian chocolate bar, try like ketchup chips, try all this like super crazy Canadian stuff. She did, she hated some of the stuff, she loved some of the other stuff. I thought it was just such a fun video that we'd filmed together because she's like so not used to the stuff that they have in Canada, that they don't have it down in the States. And then she's like, okay, I gotta go to school now. And I was like, okay, bye. So she went to school. I had taken a Lyft from her apartment to Disneyland, spent the whole day at Disneyland. I was there by myself for like the entire day at Disneyland. Did my usual routine, you know, going to the Fantasy Fair, Princess meet and greet, Royal Hall thing to see all my princess friends. I saw like Snow White, Cinderella, Belle, I think are the princesses that I saw. I don't even remember all the friends that I got to see. I know I saw Ariel though, because I saw her and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you came to see me. And I was like, me too, girl, so good. I went and saw Captain America and Thor, and I literally had like some of the best character interactions that day, because that was like the first day that I had a ride of not being there for like 5 months, and then seeing all my friends, or seeing all the characters' faces again, be like, oh my gosh, you're back. And I'm like, I'm back, surprise, bet you thought you saw the last of me. And then I had like lunch somewhere, I forget where I ate. I ate somewhere in the park though. Then it got a little bit later at nighttime. I met up with my friend Emily, who had taken in a later flight. Her flight arrived at LAX at about 7 p.m. I think, and then she finally got to Anaheim at like 9. So she came to Disneyland at about 9:30, 10-ish, I believe it was. The park was open until midnight, I think. I was over at the Pizza Port in Tomorrowland charging my cell phone in one of their outlets. She came and met me. I was like, oh hey girl, what's up? So good to see you. Hadn't seen her in months and months and months. She was the one I was meeting in California to go with this entire trip. So from March 9th to March 30th, I was spending with her. And I was like, okay, get ready for an amazing vlog series. We're gonna film every single day. It's gonna be the most fun and exciting thing ever. And it was. That day was really, really amazing. We spent the rest of the night at the park for the last like 2 hours or whatever it was that she had actually been there for until closing. We went to IHOP for dinner because we were both so hungry. That's right, dinner. Right, I remember that now. We had dinner at IHOP at like midnight. So, great dinner there at IHOP. I filmed that, and we walked back to her hotel, which was about a 10-minute walk from Disneyland. I was like, okay, cute. This is where I'm gonna be next week. I'm excited for this. Can't wait. It's cute. I looked at myself in the mirror, made sure that I looked good. And it was about almost like 1 in the morning. I was like, okay, I gotta go back. I'm so tired. I've been up since like 2 in the morning, almost 24 hours now at that point. Ready to go back to Cassie's place, go to bed, have a good sleep. And I started filming. I was like, okay, I'm leaving Emily's hotel now. I'm gonna go catch my like second Uber or Lyft ride, whatever it was. And I got in the Lyft. My driver driver was really, really friendly as well. He was talking to me and he's like, oh, your makeup's so good, you look so nice. And I was like, thank you, sir, you're so sweet. And he's like, yeah, my wife loves makeup, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. She watches videos on YouTube. And I was like, oh, I make videos on YouTube. I make videos for Disney every time I come down to the park. I always film stuff. So I was giving him a little bit of backstory about my life and how I make these videos on YouTube for Disney and stuff. And I have my business cards that I always have for people whenever I meet them. So I gave him my business card and was like, tell your wife to find me if she wants to see some fun stuff. And he's like, yeah, you should do makeup videos. And I was like, okay, sir, thank you, I'll look into that. So that was really sweet of him. He was a really nice driver. It was, like I said, like a 15-minute drive to Cassie's place. Got out of the Lyft ride, he dropped me off at Cassie's apartment, and I started walking up the staircase to Cassie's door, and I was like, wait a second. Backpack, IHOP bag, camera, where's my camera? And I was like, this is weird. Get up to Cassie's front door, open my bag, feel all my pockets and stuff, and I'm like, where's my camera? My camera at that point, it wasn't like huge, but it was like big, because it has the flip-up screen. You guys know the camera that I had. So I would always feel it like in my pocket or on my wrist or whatever, where I usually had it like tied to was my wrist or either my backpack or my pocket. And checked my bag, ripped everything out, and I was like, my camera's not in my bag, my camera's not in my pockets. Get inside Cassie's apartment, it's literally like 1 in the morning, she's asleep. I go to the room that I was staying in, dump out my bag, toss everything on, I'm like, where is my camera? I'm like looking for it, freaking out, I can't find it. I run back out of her apartment, down the staircase, I'm like holding my phone in my hand. I turn on the flashlight and I'm like, where is my camera? Like searching the whole grounds. She lives in like, not like a gated community, but like, it's all apartments, but it's kind of like a gated section, like a sectioned off area of Orange, I guess. And there was like shrubs and bushes and stuff along the sidewalk. So I was like flashing my camera in the bushes, like, did I drop my camera in here? And like I said, it was a pretty big camera. So I'm sure I would have heard it had it like dropped or something, because it's not as if I wouldn't hear like a camera dropping on cement. That made no sound. I'm sure I would have heard a camera dropping on cement and being like, oh my god, my camera dropped, oh no, it's gonna be a scratch or whatever, blah blah blah. You know, I'd be worried about that. So I searched the grounds, can't find my camera anywhere. I'm outside in the dark at like 1 in the morning for like 20 minutes looking for my camera on the ground in the pitch black with my flashlight on. Get back up to her apartment and I was like, okay, maybe I can call my Lyft driver, maybe I can like get a hold of him somehow. I go in the app and I'm like, okay, where's my Lyft driver? And of course there's no number that you get from the Lyft driver to like contact them. There's no like direct number to them. It's just like, your ride is here from like a Lyft text. And so that was really annoying in that sense too, because I never knew that there was no like direct contact for them. So I'm like, how the heck do I get a hold of my Lyft driver to let him know that I left my camera in the car? And I was like, he would know too that this camera means so much to me, because I was telling him all about how much these videos mean to me and how I film every single time I come down here and how I'm down here every few months to film for you guys and stuff. I was like, what the heck? Why is there no number to contact him? And then I found on the app and it was like, report missing item. And I was like, okay, click this missing item thing, fill it out, and it asks for a description of the item that's missing. And you can go in and select what specific ride you were in when you think you like lost your item. So I clicked that ride that I was with Fernando or whatever his name was, and I click it, and I'm like, report missing item, my black vlogging camera, submit, and it's like, thank you for your request. Most Uber drivers respond within 1 hour. And I was like, 1 hour? It's 1 a.m. I need to find out if my camera is in his car now or not. I have videos to film tomorrow morning. And I was devastated. So literally I'm there like panicking at like 1 in the morning about losing my camera. I didn't hear anything, so I go in and do another one, and I'm like, missing black vlogging camera, Fernando, please respond to me, thank you, sir. I heard nothing from him. I waited for like another like hour or whatever, waiting to hear back from him. I heard nothing. And I was like, well, there goes my life. I'm done. Lost my camera the first day here on my trip in California. I'm here for 3 more weeks, and I have no camera to film on. And I was just like, well, there it goes, might as well just pack it up and go home now. So not only was I like physically exhausted, my brain was hurting, my heart was hurting, I was just so out of it. So I go to bed and I don't even set an alarm for the morning. I'm just like, whatever. I don't even want to wake up in the morning. I have no camera to film on. What do I do with my life now? And then I get up in the morning and it's like 9:30 or whatever, and I get a text message and it's from this Fernando guy, my driver, and it's like, hey Blake, this is your Lyft driver, Fernando. Sorry I couldn't find anything in my car. And I was like, excuse me? You couldn't find anything in your car? What, like 8 hours later after I initially made the claim, you go and tell me that you can't find anything in your car? I texted him back and I was like, are you sure you couldn't find anything, sir? I need my camera. It's black, it could have slid under your thing, shine some light under there or whatever. He responds, he's like, I looked under all my seats and everything in the back seat, I couldn't find anything. And I was like, okay, well thanks. And then he goes and texts me and says, I did have another passenger after you got out of the car though. And I was like, oh. So what are you saying? So I texted him back right away and said, so are you saying you think my camera got stolen? And he says, maybe, I don't know. I always just make sure that I don't leave anything in the cars. And I was like, Well, thank you for your time then. And I literally went and told him, I was like, if you find my camera, I'll give you some money and then we can just call it even like that. And he's like, I wouldn't take your money from you. I would help you find it anyways if I could. He's like, I know how much it means to you. And I was like, ugh, so is he an honest guy or is he just like stealing my camera and trying to seem honest? So I was like, whatever. I was so disappointed. I was so upset. I was so mad that I didn't have my camera, that it was lost in his car, that somebody actually had the audacity to go and steal a camera from someone else. Like, my first initial instinct, if I were to find somebody's like phone, keys, charger, camera, somebody's like package of gum, I would be like, oh my gosh, somebody left this in your car here. Who is it from? Is it your last passenger? I think you should give them a phone call and let them know that their item is still in your car. I would be like, oh look, a $600 vlogging camera. I'm gonna take this and steal it and bring it to Disneyland with me. No, like I literally had a full day of vlogging footage on that camera. And this is one of the main things that I said too. I was like, I'm not even mad about the camera because I can buy a new camera. I'm mad about losing that footage because I know how much it means to me and it means so much for me to show it to you guys. Like that's the whole point of these trips. Every time I go down there, I film each individual day so that I can make a vlog out of it and share with you guys here on YouTube. So that's what I was most upset about, was losing all that vlog footage that I filmed and all the initial interactions with the characters that I had seen for the first time that day. Like I said, I can go and buy a new camera. Whatever I need to do, I can buy a new camera and get that sorted out if I need to, but I can't ever replace that vlogging footage. So I was so devastated about that, and I was like, well, whatever, there goes like my whole trip then. So I guess somebody ended up with a 5-month-old vlogging camera and a brand new 32GB memory card with a bunch of my vlog footage on it. So if you guys ever see a vlog of like that day, March 9th on YouTube, that's not posted by me, and that's the person that stole my camera. So when I contacted my mother, she told me that I should check Craigslist. I did all that stuff. She said, I'll send you money for you to get a new camera. And I was like, are you serious? You're actually gonna grant me that wish? Because the cameras that I brought with me, let me just like try and fill this in with you guys. I brought my black vlogging camera. I think it was a Nikon. I brought my big Canon camera, the one that's like the Canon Rebel T3i. And then my old vlogging camera as well, because I always have a backup, because whenever I film at the parks, my camera always dies. So I brought that backup with me as well. My Canon PowerShot ELPH, the one that has like the broken lens that doesn't close properly, which is why I upgraded to a new one when I was there last October. That's gone now, but I couldn't find the charger for that one before I left, so I literally only had enough battery power for like 10 minutes of filming, I feel like. When I went to film with that one, the camera literally died. So that was really annoying. I had those 3 cameras I brought with me this trip. The morning after, March 10th, I decided I was gonna go to Disneyland anyway. I was meeting up with my friend Cassie because she was working that day, and then we were gonna hang out at the park together. So I met up with her, and then I was just filming on like my small black one, my little Canon PowerShot ELPH thing, and that died. So then I started to film on my big Canon Rebel T3i, and I was like, this is ridiculous. It feels like I'm carrying like a 10-pound brick here to film with. It was super close. My zoom feature on that one, my lens is like so long on it that it doesn't really have like a far away option. It's pretty much just like super close up zoom, which is kind of annoying. So anytime that I would hold it right here, it would still be like this much of my face, would literally be like how close it is. So that was really, really annoying. And I was like, you know what? I gotta get a new camera. So my mom sent me that money. I was telling Cassie about the situation. She was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry for that. I was like, it's not your fault. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it now. So we hung out at the park a little bit that afternoon. We hung out until like 6 or 7 o'clock, I want to say. So then that night when Cassie and I were hanging out after Disneyland, she took me to Best Buy to get a new camera. I already had a specific camera in mind of what I wanted because it's the one that like every single YouTuber that's a YouTuber uses here on YouTube. So she drove me to Target first. We went there. There was like 0 cameras at all at that Target. It was just the weirdest thing. And then went to a Best Buy and they didn't have the specific camera that I wanted. So they told us that there was some at the other location. So we went to that second Best Buy, went there. Price was really high for it, and I went online on my phone and I was like talking to one of the sales associates and I was like, hey look, I found this option right here. This one's like $399. What a great deal, instead of like $699 or whatever it was. And he's like, oh, that's an unauthorized retailer though. Like we can't price match with them, because Best Buy has a price match guarantee. And he's like, we don't price match with that company though. And I was like, what do you mean you don't price match with that company? The poster specifically says it will price match for any online pricing. I go online, I'm like, this isn't online pricing, sir. This $399 is an online price. What is this? Like nothing? This means nothing? Grits on a plate? Like what is this? Just trash? No. No. So anyways, he goes on to say that we only price match with like authorized retailers like Walmart or Costco or Target or whatever those stores are that they have down there in the States. And I was like, okay, well, there goes any option for me then, because I wasn't about to spend $699 US on a camera that I didn't even necessarily need, because it's not as if I didn't have one, it's just my unlucky luck that my camera got stolen. Anyways, I told him the situation. I told him that I was like really upset about this, and I was like, I'm from Canada, our exchange rate is awful right now. It's like $1.25 Canadian for for $1 US. So for every $100, it really costs me $125 Canadian, which is so annoying and so like ridiculous for Canadian people to go down to the States. He goes on, he's like, well, do you have this price matching app? And I was like, I don't know what you're speaking of, sir. I don't know what that means. So he goes on his phone, he's like, I have this app here and it like price matches for anything that they have in our store. It'll price match for a lower price anywhere else at any other store that we can actually authorize through. And I was like, okay, great, get to it then. So he pulls out his phone, he's like searching on this thing, he's like on there for 10 minutes. He like walks away for a bit, he comes back, and he's like, okay, I found this one here. He's like, it's $4.99. And I was like, ugh. So the camera was originally $7.99 on for $6.99 and $100 off, and then he found one for $4.99. So then that was $200 off the $6.99 sale tag that they had. So I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll just go for it. It's whatever, I'll just do it and pay for the consequences later. And so I ended up getting the camera for $4.99 US, which was like, what, like $600 Canadian probably with the exchange. So awful. But I ended up getting what I'm filming on right now and what I've been filming on for the next 3 weeks of vlog footage at Disneyland and downtown LA, Hollywood. The Canon PowerShot G7X. Yes, this camera here is amazing. I am 100% in love with it. Every YouTuber, like I said, has this camera and they all film with it. So obviously it's good for them, so it'll be good for me. So this is why I don't have a Disneyland park video as the first video opener of my 2016 Spring Break March Disneyland vlog series, because my camera was stolen at Disneyland. So how devastating is that story, right? So yeah, moral of the story is don't ever go in a lift with anything in your hands because you won't walk away with it, apparently. And also, don't, anyways, that is it for this storytime video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed filming it for you. Kind of, not really, but I had to anyways. Yes, thank you so much for watching. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe. You can follow me here on Twitter. All my other social media links will be down in the more info box below, including my official Tumblr, Instagram, my real official Facebook page where I post tons of cool photos of Disneyland birthday trips, Disneyland diamond celebrations, Disneyland Vlogtober trips, and lots of other fun stuff. So definitely check out those links, and until next time, I will see you all very soon. Thanks so much for watching. Stay magical. Bye!